show. We're doing gangbusters these days, and that's all thanks to you. You clearly helped grow the audience, and I'm forever grateful always, and I mean that sincerely. And we're really excited to be back at it and to celebrate those successes here, and both on the show and at Warchant and on 93.3 and with you.
Yeah, Tallahassee listening in droves. That's very good. That's nothing new, but it's always appreciated. And we always have to give a shout out to the Thomasville market, as you recall. The Thomasville market is a big one. It's a big one for us.
Well, and then obviously the stream's done really, really well too. So everything's the podcast and the multimedia empire that is being built.
Big in Orlando. Very big in Orlando.
That is odd. As much as I've ripped Orlando over the years, it is our second biggest market for the Jeff Cameron Show. We are huge in Orlando. I don't know why. I'm not from Orlando. I've always disparaged Orlando. There's not a lot to like about Orlando. But hey, they love us there.
I will tell you, if you live in Bay Hill, you'd like Orlando just fine.
Well, yeah. Yeah, living at a premier golf course community surely works out. Most cities in America, you could be in Toledo, and if you lived in a place like that, you'd be all right.
That opened my eyes a little bit. Not to Orlando in general, but just that it was there. Because I never thought it existed. I thought Bay Hill, oddly enough, was a nice course and a dump. Like, no, that's very nice.
That would be Augusta National, which is right around the corner.
That is true.
Augusta's a nice course and a dump of a city. Yes, that's
you drive through, they go, the best golf tournament in the world is played here.
That's exactly what I said when I drove through Augusta or into Augusta when I went. I went, ooh. So all you got's the golf course, I see. Yeah. It's
even the Hooters didn't survive.
No, it's a toughie, much to John Daly's chagrin.
Did you see the video of him falling down the hill?
Oh, no. No, I have not seen a video of him falling down a hill, and I'm concerned.
It sounds worse, but he was playing a golf shot from a hazard area on what looked like a desert course, and as he followed through, he kind of Jordan Spiethed it, remember, at the Whistling Straits?
Yeah.
Except he didn't have balance. He just went sliding down the hill out of the frame.
Well, he might have been inebriated.
Could have been.
Never know. I'm just glad it wasn't one of the falls where you go, oh, no, the darkness approaches.
No, I just think it's
around the bend.
I think he's got rashes for days is what he's got with his little roll down the hill.
What a good few days this has been. What a good time, man. The tournament last night, Iowa does the Lord's work, eliminates the right team, the team that needed to be eliminated as agreed upon by all of America. And so it happened. Ouster of Florida. What a way to kick off your Sunday evening of rest. That game ends, your head hit the pillow with a newfound quiet. You felt like you had a new lease on life. The great evil had been dispelled.
The great evil. Capital G, capital E.
Yeah. And so it was that a colossal blunder of coaching in the last 30 seconds for Florida cost them a chance to go to the Sweet 16. Iowa hits the three. A wide open three, I might add, because for some unknown reason, Florida decided to press, didn't stay in front of the guard, rather lagged behind him, opening up the entirety of the court, giving him options for days. And that option was to kick to a wide open shooter who did what wide open shooters do, especially when you're shooting the shortest three available on the court, which is that baseline three. He stepped back, had the awareness to do so, drain that three, and on goes Iowa, their first Sweet 16 since 1999, where they'll take on a rival in Nebraska who'd never won a tournament game prior to the two they've won in this particular tournament. Now they face each other. St. John's hadn't been to a Sweet 16 since 99. They go on a last-second buzzer beater for the lack of upset-mindedness, if you will, in terms of the big seeds pulling off huge upset. I still think the madness has been in existence. There have been a lot of cool moments in this tournament, even if many of them were born from name teams.
You had quality games.
Yeah.
I think that's the important part here is the product is quality. You might have had upsets 5 years ago, but remember that product, what it was? It was just awful. Coming out of COVID, those first couple of years, I mean, you are the band leader for college basketball in this program, and you said, I can't watch it. I can't do it.
No, I used to.
It's Brick City.
It was Brick City. So
you don't care if you've got a 13 seed advancing. The product is garbage. This was good. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not typically that guy. However, I did tune in to start the second half once I saw that Iowa was asserting itself even more against Florida. With Condon having 3 fouls, those officials refused to call a fourth on old Condon, and he was guilty of about 4 or 5 egregious near the basket fouls. But sure, let's keep him at 3, keep him in the game. He went perfect from the field. He had 12 points in the first 8 minutes of the second half. I was starting to get frustrated. I thought, okay, little hometown whistle in Tampa for Florida. But you know what? Mike White overcame it, and I appreciate that about him.
Yeah, I was amazed by what I thought in that game was poor officiating across the board. I just thought it was poor. And I was amazed at how poorly, Florida didn't look to me like they were a team who took seriously the peril they found themselves in.
Forgive me, Todd Golden.
I was going to say Mike White's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
But I wasn't going to correct
We liked him.
I knew what you meant. Golden, you just got to remember, is different from White in that Golden chases people that aren't his wife around and stalks them via text, allegedly.
So do you think that was true?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I didn't know if the exoneration was enough for you.
There was no exoneration.
Okay.
The university didn't proceed. Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. But you have connections down there.
There's a history with University of Florida coaches. Oddly, it's just a wide-ranging history with Florida coaches doing unsavory things. It's unbelievable. Not just because they're our rivals. I mean, they'll admit it. They're like, yeah, we tend to hire a-holes.
Yeah. Spurrier was the good guy. Who knew?
As it turned out.
And Donovan.
Anyhow, that whole situation was amazing to watch Florida kind of just not take seriously. Now, remember, that first game, they had set an NCAA record in the way that they pulverized their opponent, and you kind of and they were dominant the back half of the college basketball season. Week in and week out, it was emerging as a program that had a legitimate shot to try to go for back-to-back titles. But that's the thing about a tournament. It is a truncated tournament, and we do know, I mean, I love making fun of Golden in this situation, but we know in tournaments, it's hard. If you ever make a run and you do ever get a chance to win a national championship, you want to cash it in, because even if you're one of the 2 or 3 best teams in all of basketball over the course of a season, in a truncated tournament, there's no guarantee that you don't get upset. It happens. One bad day at the office, one great day from somebody who goes unconscious and makes 15 threes, and you could be out of the tournament. It's not a 4 out of 7 series the way that it is in the NBA. And when you have series, that usually differentiates just one off night or one great night from an opponent. The better team tends to emerge, but not in a one-off. Not in a one-off where, hey, oh my God, that team came to play tonight. You're a little off. Shots aren't falling, a little rusty. Next thing you know, you would find yourself down by 12. You begin to press. You fight like hell to get back. You exhaust yourself in doing so. We got a one-possession game. One-possession games end the way they do. Kid either makes a shot or he doesn't. Somebody's going to have a chance.
And sometimes there's a whistle, but most of the time there's an open look, or sometimes it's a half-court heave that looks good the entire way, and it rattles out. You just never know. It could be like Butler, or it could be like this weekend's game. What was it? Was that Vandy? Who was that?
The Vandy, Nebraska.
It was a Vandy
game.
shot.
Yeah.
It was much like the Butler finish with Duke in the national championship
game. Yeah,
that was nuts. That's in. I mean, that's a great shot.
Yeah. That Vandy shot was.
Well, the best part is when you see the slow motion of both teams on the court, they both don't know how to react.
Yeah, the kid for Nebraska is
like, we just lost. But then it takes them an extra second to go, oh, that
didn't go in.
That didn't go in.
We just won. Actually, that was fun to watch. There's so many great scenes in this tournament that remind you of how much you love sport and how you got into it when you were a kid. All the dramatic moments. The high point game is so fun to watch. VCU coming back from down 19 against North Carolina.
That was nuts.
And, if you're North Carolina today, you're thinking about firing your coach, and for good reason. I mean, that was a disaster as you watch that play out, but it was glorious for us to watch as fans. And this tournament does provide the drama and the emotion and really its core love of competition in sport and upset and camaraderie and coaching and fandom. It's all there. Basketball, college basketball, I will say this, has a surplus, in my opinion, a surplus of very good announced teams. I mean, there is no shortage of very good play-by-play / color teams in college basketball. When you get a tournament, they're all going to come, it's like the best refs and the best, now that doesn't always play out the way you'd like it to in the case of officiating. But the truth is, obviously, the cream rises to the top. You bring the best of the best or the best that you have. And I always forget that that's true of announced teams. But when you're flipping around to 6 games in a given day where you're like watching the early game at noon, then you're watching them, maybe you're off doing something, you come back in the room and you're watching something else. I was struck how many times I went, oh, they're really good. They play well together. These two are good. And then the next game, oh, yeah, I love this team. Or, oh, they're great too. Yeah, there's a lot of it in college basketball. Good for them. And I pay attention to that stuff. As a broadcaster, I love to see that kind of thing.
Well, I do too. Yeah, I mean, well, you know that Kevin Harlan is one of the greats, if not maybe the greatest unheralded play-by-play voice. Everybody knows the Super Bowl play-by-play voices, and so that's where the big fish are swimming, and that's where Joe Buck's been, Al Michaels has been. I'm not picking favorites there. Tirico finally just got to call his Super Bowl, but we know he's one of the best. Kevin Harlan has been the best basketball announcer of my lifetime, and I'm including Marv Albert. Marv Albert was iconic. Kevin Harlan never misses. Oh, he never misses.
He's as perfect as they come. It's unbelievable.
He understands when to inflect. Marv always played it cool, and I understand that was its own style. Pat Summerall did the same thing. I get it. I know what that is, and that's awesome. Yes, for the shot. Okay, cool. Kevin Harlan knows when to go 5th octave or keep it low.
He's a beast.
Every time. He's so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good guys at this point right now. Jason Benetti is really good. Yeah, he's as good as they get.
Yeah.
No, he can do multiple sports at that level.
Yep. He's got what Tirico's got. He's got that gift. He can call a baseball game. He can call
few
a
people
hockey
in
game.
The history of broadcasting have what Tirico have.
Yep. But Benetti does 100%.
Yeah.
And we knew it when he came down here and he called the regionals. And I texted our mutual friend who's working in the truck.
Like,
I said, "Who is this guy?" He goes, "Oh, this is a stud. He's a total stud. He won't be with ESPN for long."
It was a rock star in
the
the making.
The major leagues are going to call him very soon.
Yeah, really, really good. Okay, so the tournament itself, we'll get to it in a moment. That's a big story. But the other big storylines, it was a good weekend for Florida State. They come back after losing game 1, do the men, and win 2 out of 3 in convincing fashion, and do so in what was a very important series. And I'm not sure going in, certainly we didn't have the chance to talk about it. We knew the series was looming, but we were going to take a few days off for spring break last week, as we did. But you knew just by the prowess of these two teams, the ranking of these two teams, that this was going to be a big series, that you felt like by maybe season's end, you were going to look back at this series and say, remember when Florida State won 2 out of 3, or remember when NC State won 2 out of 3, or whatever it was going to be. You had a feeling that the two would be differentiated in the standings to host down the line by this series. Maybe it doesn't play out that way. We'll find out. But it felt that way going in, and you got that. And you have on display right now for Florida State, if I want to take this and look big picture, without breaking down the subtleties of the innings and the moments and the pitching and, the big hits. But just the big picture, if you want to go that route, it's all on display right now for Florida State fans. And what I mean by that is Florida State's got some things that you love about this year's team. Just a lot of options at the dish, a lot of offensive firepower that is beginning to emerge, aspects of play that you're beginning to see that you like a lot of. For example, Moore yesterday, I texted you, buddy, if he's going to keep throwing 94 to 97 with that fastball and challenge in the way that I have begged Florida State pitchers to challenge in much the way the fastball rules the day in the SEC, then we've got something going in this rotation right now to get really giddy about.
Yeah, because that's Sunday.
And he looked strong. He looked in control. He looked confident. He's got that huge trunk. And, they began the year worried about pitch counts with him, building him back to a place where he could really let it go. Now you see that was true. That wasn't lip service. They have built him up. He's throwing 90 the first time he's out there, 89, 88, 90. Now you get consistent 93 to 97, dials it up when he needs it, 2-2, 1-2. He throws the ball by people. He's got that nasty breaking ball to throw off of it. He can pitch backwards if you want him to. Lord knows we do a lot of that. But he also can come right at you with the fastball, and he's brimming with confidence right now. So there are things there that you like. You need a couple more arms out of that pin that you're going to like. There's enough, but you need a little bit more if we're talking about big picture trying to win a national championship, which is all the prism that I see any of this through, is trying to win a national championship. And then on the other hand, you see the real warts that are going to come back and haunt you in a big game at some point. In fact, it happened on Friday. You don't pick up the baseball very well. You do not have a shortstop on this team. And Cal is, I don't want to, this is not a personal attack to Cal Fisher. It is a statement of obviousness. He is so domed right now that he is of no real use to you. He's a slappy at the plate, doesn't hit for any real power consistently at all, doesn't drive the ball the way we saw him do some last year, and even at the very beginning of this year, where he was going to be asked to back up Miles Bailey, and obviously subsequently has been moved all the way down the lineup because he can't hit. So he can't hit, and he's terrible at shortstop. He's got no real range. He's starting to dome up in a way that sees him backhand balls that if he just moved his feet to get in front of, he wouldn't have to backhand.
That was the key play on Friday.
Well, listen, he's done it a lot. That cost you the game to some extent, but he does it a lot.
Well, you have the front side play closer to the bag over his. I mean, it took a weird hop, but a shortstop makes that play. Logies makes that play in his sleep. A true shortstop would. But one thing can affect the other. I mean, one side can affect the other. If you don't feel right where you are positionally, boom, it bothers you in the box, or vice versa.
Well, yeah, in this case, I really believe – now, look, he's not a true shortstop anyhow. He's a much better third baseman. I really believe he's domed up from the lack of hitting. I think when he stopped hitting, you saw the weaknesses of the defense really come to light. And now it's married in such a way that you have to ask yourself, they've got to try to find an option. And I don't know that they have an option to play shortstop at this point. One of them is out indefinitely with an injury. And from what we can tell, it seems like a pretty severe injury. He hasn't played since the collision happened. And, you know, I don't want to get into people's medicals, but it's not good, is what I understand. So I don't know if he comes back, is my point. All right. So that was your other option at short. And Frazier clearly is in a doghouse and or something else is going on.
Right. McCulley can't hit.
McCulley can't play. So
I think he's okay defensively. I think he'd be all right out there, but
you can't hit.
Right.
So
yeah.
So you're seeing it now.
So Estes might be out. You think? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's looking good anytime soon, Tom.
Well, of course not. But I'm just, you know how it goes. We enjoy these weekend series. You want to host 16 seed, 8 seed. Can you improve? Right now in the RPI, Boyd's World has us at 4.
Oh, yeah.
4.
Well, yeah, we've played a real schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the sweep over Wake Forest is immense and valuable. It would be nice to get a win over Florida tomorrow if we can, because Duke is in the 150s.
Everybody beats Florida but us, buddy. Don't worry about
correct.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alabama bent them over the weekend.
Did you see the photos of Sully?
It was glorious. Yeah. Somebody sent it to me, and I said, you should ask him how his best friend feels. Oh, wait.
That is true. But I'm just thinking about, the month of May. We're in March, buddy. It'll be April next week, but I'm thinking about the month of May.
Yeah.
Do we have all options available to us at that point?
Well, right now there's a lot more good than bad for Florida State baseball, and you're excited about what they're becoming. They're emerging offensively. I am willing to sometimes you have decisions to make, and when you're going through roster construction, and I talk about roster construction a lot, both with football and with baseball. In the NIL era, roster construction is an omnipresent conversation. Do you have what you need in order to put together the kind of roster that can withstand weakness here, changes to the game here, whatever it might be, right? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes you swing and miss. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you simply don't have the funds that you need. I think there's a combination of things going on with this Florida State baseball roster. There are things that I really, really like, and there's some things that I don't, that I wish they had done differently in the offseason. Can't change that now. But that said, what you can do is just play to whatever your strength is and hope like hell that strength is such that it overcomes the weakness. That's who they were this weekend. They didn't pick up the baseball that well, but they mashed on Saturday and Sunday, and they bludgeoned a quality NC State staff. Bludgeoned. And you've got guys now, Paulino hitting that home run. I said to you 2 weeks ago, so he's a hitting machine. He doesn't have a position on the field that he can play even a little bit. So you have to keep him in the lineup because he can hit, but unfortunately he can't pick up the baseball anywhere. So now that kind of limits you, as he's just a DH. It takes your DH spot. So it's the good and the bad. Hey, to have a freshman hitter who's that good, what's he going to be when he discovers power, when he gets stronger? Well, you see the 3-run homer damn near straight away. There it is. Is this where we're headed with him? because he has bat-to-ball skills that almost nobody else on the team has.
Well, yeah, and you matched like crazy over the weekend, but on Friday night, you were a couple of situational at-bats away from scoring 7 runs or 8 runs even in that game that you don't win.
Right.
Namely, when you have first and second, nobody out in the 8th inning, that usually turns into a big situation. Chase got a little unlucky on that 0-1 pitch, but, they tried to run the Butcher Boy play on the first pitch of the at-bat. Next thing you know, you're out of that inning. But you're not far away from dropping 6, 7, 8 runs on Friday night to make this a resounding statement.
Sure.
It wasn't like you were outclassed on Friday by their
No, God, no. And if you pick up the ball, you probably win the game.
Correct. And then you lean on the fact that Bailey hits a home run in the situation. Well, that's the thing that's left for him is now in a big spot. Can you deliver with consistency? And he's doing that again this year.
I'll say this, man. I marvel at how many guys like to beat their head against a wall. I mean, what are you doing pitching to him as often as they pitch to him and challenging him with fastballs? That
first at bats, that's a work of art because you're surprising him. Yeah, that's an old surprise attack. Yeah. Here you go. Fastball. I know. We talked about it on the weekend. Yeah, we did. Fastball. Whoa, he's going to continue to throw it.
You're going to throw him another fastball. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Second at bat, you win again. The third time through, I don't know, man. Especially not away. There's not a park. We could be playing in the old Polo Grounds. He's going to leave it to center field in the Polo Grounds if you let him extend on a fastball. That was insane. But it's also important for Miles to do that to continue to put fear in future opponents' hearts and minds. And that's what he's doing, which is great.
Power to all fields, intimidation factor. He stands on top of the plate, is a guy that is punishing mistakes with a great level of consistency now that changes who he is. You're great players that come through this program. It's one thing to have a unique skill set or to be very strong and big as he is, right? There's power that comes with that already. We've seen great players of all shapes and sizes, little guys, big guys, you name it, but they get the most out of the prowess, whatever it is that they have, right? It's a whole nother level that you rise to if you're going to be considered a great in this program, because this program is littered with superstars, All-Americans, Golden Spikes Award winners, all-time college baseball Hall of Famers who go on to major league greatness. I mean, we've watched the J.D. Drews, the Buster Posies, et cetera. We've seen these great players transcend the game almost. So whenever I'm watching somebody emerge into the conversation of all-time greats for Florida State, I think, well, the next step is, do you provide the big hit in the big moment in the way that allows it to be etched indelibly in the brains of these fans for all time?
And that's the thing where, of course, everybody would talk on Saturday about the shot heard around the circus.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Understood. Exit velo being what it is, 450 being what it is, that's fine.
If you'd hit the sounder that just says balls out, you could go,
the Tirico? Yeah. I think he says balls free. I'll go grab that.
Either way.
That is actually from the Jadeveon Clowney play. Somebody asked, what is the origin recently?
Michigan and South Carolina.
It's Michigan, South Carolina, and not Gasparilla, listen to me. It was the Outback Bowl at the time. But it's the home run on Friday. That's the one. That is in a big spot. You're trailing, it gives you the lead. Like, that is the home run. Many people can hit no doubters when you're up and you're going to run rule somebody. But that shot from Miles on Friday night was specifically, that's the sign you're looking for.
Yeah, and I just think that he's a guy who's so confident and consistent now, and his swing is short and quick, and it's just the power is effortless. Ball's free! There it is. Yeah, the next 447-foot shot he hits, just make sure you're hitting that over.
Ball's free!
Over and over.
Ball's free!
Whoo! Man, I didn't even get to the NCAA record set over the weekend. Another Florida State player doing great things. We'll talk about it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch A Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, and today I want to talk straight with you about debt, especially high interest rate credit cards, and why you shouldn't just sit there and hope the situation will fix itself. Nationwide, the average credit card interest rate is hovering around 21% or higher. The total revolving credit card debt in the U.S. is over $1 trillion and rising. If you're carrying a credit card balance, you're likely paying hundreds of dollars each month just in interest, without even touching your principal. But here's the good news. You can act. What I help folks do is refinance their home or use a home loan strategy to consolidate high interest debt into something with a much lower interest rate and one payment. It puts you in control. So if you own a home or you're buying one, let's talk about turning your house into a tool so you can stop the credit card interest trap and you can stop feeling like you're paying lots without making progress. Go to loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com, and let's get you on a smarter financial path and get out of the high interest grind.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
All right, folks, if you're looking for a good excuse to play Seminole Legacy and feel good about it, I've got one for you. We're proud to be part of the Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Invitational coming up April the 13th at Seminole Legacy Golf Club here in Tallahassee. It's a Monday, which, let's be honest, is a perfect day to have a meeting on the course. Check-in starts at 8:30, shotgun at 10. They'll feed you, play a great track, free drinks, there's putting challenge, awards, silent auction, the whole kit and caboodle. It actually matters. The tournament supports education and training for child welfare workers across Florida, and part of the proceeds go right here locally to the Oasis Center for Women and Girls. So you're playing golf, but you're also doing some good. It's $200 for an individual, $750 for a foursome, so get your team together, grab your clients, or just come out and play. We're proud to sponsor it. I'd love to see some familiar faces out there. Tom Lang and myself will be playing as well, alongside PGA Pro Tom Shea and FSU Hall of Famer Jane Geddes. Come join us and have a good time for a great cause. Register at ficw.fsu.edu/golf. April the 13th, the first ever Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Tournament. We'll see you there.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So, I don't spend a lot of time, you guys know this, on Florida State softball, although I did happen to catch more Florida State softball, Tom, in a given weekend than I probably ever have. Partly because I was out to eat one night and they were bludgeoning Cal, and I saw that game because they run ruled them, and I saw bits and pieces of another because I got interested in Torres's hitting streak, and then you start
just a machine.
You're just pulling it up on your
machine.
You just pulling it up on your phone to watch Issa Torres bat because you're like, well, what's going on here? Is anybody going to get her out? This is amazing.
It's literally unbelievable.
It is hard to believe.
Yeah. But I mean, in a bat-to-ball sport, that word is overused. We talked about this recently. The GOAT term. My God, everybody's a GOAT. This is great. This is unbelievable. And 16 consecutive non-outs because I know walks are not technically at bats.
Yeah.
Like 16 consecutive balls put in play that are non-outs. That's absurd. I know 14 broke the record, but That's just insane. I can't fathom that. I don't care what the sport is. It's too hard. There's too many people out there defending.
I watch baseball every night, and so back to your bat to ball conversation. The frustrating aspect of any bat to ball sport, softball or baseball, now they're very different games, but that aspect is similar. You're hitting a ball being thrown very hard at you. You're trying to use a round bat to hit a round ball, and you want to, quote, square it up. Very difficult to do, as we all know. That and golf are the two games where I go, I just don't know why this is so hard, but it is. And anyhow, the point would be that the frustrating aspect of those two sports is that when you absolutely square one up, there's a good chance it's going to somebody. If you don't hit it out of the yard, there's a chance it's going at one of the defenders. It just happens. It happens all the time. I feel like Chase Williams has gotten screwed more than any player in college baseball history this year. And in addition to having not played all that well, he also, man, I don't know how many times I've watched that guy just square one up. And you're like, diving play down the line, I see. That'll hurt your feelings. I mean, that's a hit 9 times out of 10. Chase again. Yeah, it happens that way sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I hear the voice of Rich Waltz. A Mezziga! Oh, what a catch!
And you're
like a Mezziga. Sure.
Go ahead, make that catch
Probably
again.
Probably a double-A player, but today, Gold Glover.
Yeah.
All-timer.
So it happens all the time that you just absolutely dust one, and it's right at the shortstop. It's right at the center fielder. It's right, whomever. So to go to, 16 consecutive at-bats?
Yeah, 16.
It's crazy to think about that many plate appearances without making an out, period. And, good for her. It's a cool thing. It's one of us. So you get to celebrate one of our own doing something unique. And that made national news. So that was cool. Good for her. Good for the program. Good for Florida State.
No, it resonated across the country. And it's hard to do in the regular season for softball unless you're hitting 5 home runs in a game or, you've thrown 16 consecutive hitless innings or something along those lines. That was one of those type deals that made national news. You could see it even in our engagement on our social.
Yeah.
We put that out there and people flocked to it. Good, as you should. And now we've won a bunch of games in a row, pushing 20 in a row nearly, and you run Rule Cal 3 times. Good job. They've really done a very nice job with a very young team this year.
Well, that's where I was going. They went the route of all those freshmen coming in, talented as hell, but, when you're young, you're going to have some bumps in the road along the way. But if you're talented, you go through the growing pains and come out the other side feeling very good about what's possible because your ceiling continues to be raised as their maturity level and acclimation to this level happens before your eyes. So you have some tough days. You're going to lose some games where you're like, ooh, I don't know if they got it this year. This looks like a team that's going to struggle a little bit. And then you're reminded just how young they are and how many freshmen they're playing. And the next thing you know, you go, oh, she's getting a lot better. Well, that kid can play a little bit. And then boom, 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 boom. Back to baseball for a second. Stutz is a good example for us. Somebody texted me, mutual friend of ours. Did Sheffield offend somebody that I don't know about? Like, what is
that's
happening?
The DH black hole you're dealing with there a little bit.
It is 100% the DH black hole. You have an emerging athletic stud in Stutzer, who they prefer out and right. Your guy's not.
I know Brody's getting squeezed.
Well, but Brody's not.
No, not by the umpire. I just mean,
I know
performance.
Yeah,
it's okay.
He's getting squeezed. His ass on the bench is where he is. I mean, that's
wait and see. It's all right.
I got some numbers for you that tell you, Tom, that I'm worried about him.
Well, I've got some numbers from the future that tell me that you're going to be smiling about Brody D come regional, super regional.
Well, you need to give Brody a call because I did Tough Love Cameron about 10 days ago, and this program is done a 180 and is whooping that ass. You're going to have to personally call Brody D and really get on his ass about this inconsistency.
That's not my method.
Okay.
My method is I believe in you.
No, you're gonna put your
I'm a
arm
little
around
bit
him?
more Ted Lasso. You're a little bit more Bob Knight.
All right. Well, the Bob Knight approach worked for this team. Now it's not working for Cal. I wouldn't
maybe send Cal to my office. Let me try my approach.
I wouldn't talk to Cal anymore. I'd sit his ass on the bench.
Cal, we know that you can mash. We've seen it. We've seen it in this ballpark. You've got power.
You do. It's
and I believe
you're
it's
bereft
gonna
of it
happen.
currently, and nobody can find it. But
putting the sign on the door, belief. We're gonna be all right. We're going to be all right there, Cal.
You do that, and I'll give it this week. And at the end of this week,
All right.
I'll come back around and say, if you don't hit this week, you're sitting your ass. I'd rather have a broom standing at short than you currently.
I'd like to see the broom with a glove attached to it.
Sitting there like a scarecrow. Just a effing scarecrow would do better right now.
That's why we work well.
I wouldn't
You
have
can be
my
the
hopes
tough
up
love
with a
guy.
scarecrow.
I'm the positive reinforcement, very aware of mental health, the modern guy. It's all right.
I'm
believe
of the
in you.
mindset that you need to pick up the ball, especially if you're going to hit like a small child.
See, yeah, I look him in the eye and said, I believe in you. Do you believe in you? Do you believe in you? You should believe in you. If you believe in you, then we can believe in you.
In the background, I go, my belief is wavering as I go to get a Gatorade or something.
There will always be doubters, Cal. Brody D, people will doubt you. I am here.
Not picking up the spin from righties, are you, Brody D?
You got this.
The numbers are telling us.
The numbers will always tell you when you're slumping because that's just the truth. Slumps happen, but we emerge from slumps. That's the beauty of the long season that is baseball.
Anyhow, this will be the approach for this week. I'm going to let you love on him and give him the Ted Lasso Believe speech.
Well, that's for Cal mostly. I don't know that Brody's going to get the at-bats
Well,
this week. Brody's a longer-term project because he's got to get cracks at the plate. Because you're right, they got to find time for Sheffield too. But for Cal, this is a big week for Cal. Cal's in my office this week. I got Brody scheduled for recurring sessions over the next month.
Well, let me tell you what's happening, though. I mean, this is self-evident, right? I'm not trying to patronize the audience. They know. If they're watching the games, they know. But this is a very clear-cut case of a manager, in the case of Link, who's openly talked about, you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. That's good. It's good to have many options. They're all talented cooks. So let's see what kind of meal they make. At some point, you got to whittle it down to the guy who's most consistently making a favorable meal, the guy who is coming through for you night in and night out. Well, he is just pressing the buttons of who's hot and who's not. That's all this is. Sheffield went on like a 1-for-20 whatever slump, found his ass on the bench. Stutz is young, inexperienced, freakish athletic, and is hitting. He doesn't know enough to know he doesn't know. He also walks. So he has good plate appearances. He's a good defender because of that athleticism. He's learning more all the time, and his upside is great. We'll play him so long as he hits. DeLamielleure wasn't hitting, and he's an average defender. So there you go. You're stuck out. Now you just say, all right, well, Stutz, you stay in. I guarantee you they had I don't know, desire is the right word. They're going to let it play out. It's meritocracy. There's no way they thought Bavaro was going to be their starting third baseman. I mean, I know there wasn't any way they thought Bavaro because of the practices in the camp, and we know that wasn't really an option. Bavaro, out of necessity, got a chance to play third. He won't stop hitting. They can't get him out of the lineup because he won't stop hitting. He's a hitting machine. Well, they lucked into it. I say lucked into. They recruited the man, but, they didn't expect this to be the case. So he's hitting. You can't get him out of the lineup. And therefore, you're not going to see Frazier and you're not going to see McCulley because they can't hit.
Right.
And, you got.
But that's where what you're describing is a bunch of unexpected developments that they're able to roll with. And that's the thing that Cal needs to understand.
Well, he's going to be an unexpected ass on the bench because he has developed a case of suck. They're going to have to figure something out with him. He can't field and he's not hitting.
If that's part of the journey for him, then so be it. But I just need him to believe. That's all. I just need him to look in the mirror and say, you're good. You're a good baseball player.
Schmale is a good example.
Oh, yeah.
They had no idea Schmale was going to be anything but a guy who occasionally gave Carnes a rest. But Carnes can't catch. He can't.
Nathan had a couple of those problems, especially in key spots on Friday. But yes.
Here's the point I'm going to make. Schmale is not an elite defender at catcher. They don't really have one.
No.
But he's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go with the guy that's hitting.
Hey, give me something.
I'm like, look, brother, you look like a bodybuilder. You don't look like a baseball player. You don't defend like a baseball player, but you're mashing so good. I'm going to start you until you stop hitting. And Carnes, you'll sit your ass. That's how this works. And you got to give me something. That's the frustration with shortstop right now is you're not giving me anything. Nothing.
Right. Yeah, I can live with it if your wins above replacement at the dish is big.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, look, even when that ball, this tells you everything you need to know. When that ball's on the ground, was it the 7th inning, the 8th inning?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel good. When they're cutting to the play to be made, I'm like, I don't like this.
I doubt it. Yeah, that's not a tailor-made two-hopper to the chest.
but it is a routine play.
Yeah.
And yet, the way the ball is hit, where it's hit, my honest instinct, as positive as I am, you got to be honest too.
You're coming around.
No, just the honesty
over here.
You can be positive and be honest. And it was, was my first thought. That's not a routine play. Whereas last year, obviously, that ball could be 6 feet to the left.
Right.
Well, he's getting a glove on it.
Play made.
He's getting a glove on it, and we're going to be okay.
So if we're a GIF.
We had Bobby Witt last year, the college version of Bobby Witt.
If we're GIFs, Tom, you're going to be the Ted Lasso Believe, slapping the Believe sign. I'm going to be De Niro taking the huge draw on the cigarette, looking over at Fisher. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be looking down to the end of the bar.
And if it doesn't work out for him, I'll be like him in the divorce episode where he's like, I forgive you.
That's the end of
I forgive you.
That's it. Yeah. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Fire Department responded to a house fire on Straw Lane early Sunday morning. A passerby reported the fire at around 12:15 a.m. after seeing smoke and flames from Crawfordville Road. When crews arrived on scene, flames extended through the roof and engulfed 3 sides of the single-story home. TFD said no one was inside the home at the time of the fire. The cause is under investigation. 2 people are hurt after a shooting at a Tallahassee apartment complex Friday night. TBD announced they were investigating a shooting on the 1400 block of Southwood Plantation Road at around 8 p.m. Friday. A spokesperson later said the gunfire happened at Appalachia Point Apartments. No information was released about the extent of the victim's injuries or a potential suspect. There is no threat to the public and no charges are pending at this time. An investigation is underway. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
Hey there, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold, and the winds are shifting this afternoon, likely going to make Wakulla County in the unhealthy for sensitive groups category when it comes to this air quality. Temperatures will be climbing into the mid-80s by the late afternoon. The drier and warmer air as of late, along with the extreme drought, makes it easier for wildfires to spread, so please be cautious around fire starters. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks, we fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. So Florida State, Florida tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And
there is video of it, which is good.
Get a second crack at Florida State, Florida, which would be nice.
They're like two cheapos trying to foot the bill a couple times the last 5 years when they were in Jacksonville. Like, who's going to broadcast this thing? SEC Network Plus has it tomorrow.
All right, so we're good there. Also, it's interesting. I think about this because of our conversation that we've had. You mentioned, I think Boyd's World RPI has us 4, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and great response. We use that word because Mike Norvell says it incessantly, and it's always frustrating. But the response to the Florida loss, which was just the same damn script all the time and the frustration, but I did give Link credit after that game for the way that he handled the conversation. And I was critical of how many of those arms they're able to roll out at Florida and how few of those caliber of arms throwing that hard we seem to have year in and year out. And the frustration is that it follows the script. When you go down to Gainesville, you get up early in that game, Florida usually comes back, and then you see one arm after the next throw in 99. And we were strikeout machines in that game. And Link talked about how, yeah, it's not fun to tell that story. It's aggravating. It's frustrating. They hadn't seen that kind of velocity consistently this year. The key will be how they respond to it. Well, we love Link, and I've talked about it a lot. I think he's a great coach. I think he's going to win a national championship at Florida State. But little moments like that are where it's on display, because absolutely, I'm sure the frustration as you're striking out 15, 16, 17 times in a game it's got to eat at you. You look non-competitive in those moments. But to have the wherewithal to be calm and to say, well, they hadn't really seen it to the extent that they saw it tonight, credit to them, but he's very calm, noted they were going to see it. I came in the next day, ripped them for that loss because of the way it looked. Not that they lost. I understand it's a baseball game. Sometimes you lose. I can live with that. It was the way that they lost with all the empty at-bats and the terrible ABs. He admitted those ABs were terrible. No shortening up, nobody putting the ball in play, all of that. But then noted that they were going to get to face similar caliber in terms of power arms against Wake. And we talked about how sobering that could have been for this baseball team. This was going to be a referendum week going back to the Wake series, where if they didn't respond in the way that he was hoping they would to that kind of power, you could get it handed to you. Instead, Florida State responded in a way that I think was probably above and beyond what even the most optimistic fan would have guessed was coming. Florida State really did a number. Now, the Saturday game, they just out-dueled. It was a pitcher's duel. They win 2-0. But the other 2 games, Florida State pounded. Good pitching. Wake's got a good staff, a very good staff, well-thought-of staff. They are going to be a good baseball team throughout the course of this year, is Wake. Getting that sweep certainly is the kind of response where you go, wow, okay, that's in there. Good to see. We talk about the emerging bats now. We've had that conversation this entire hour. But again, NC State's a very good team, and Florida State really hit the baseball exceptionally well. That's where, when you talk about response, you don't roll your eyes at Mike. You see it. It's there. It's in totality as good a response. You won 5 out of 6 in the ACC against 2 of the better teams with live arms, and you did it in large part by mashing.
That's true. It's also the other half of the equation that you usually bring up with response, which is you think it's passive and weakness. You have to dictate. The bats are dictating. The offense is dictating to Wake. They dictated to NC State after the first few innings on Friday night. I mean, because they had their chances after that. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose, but you're looking at the way the ball is being hit. It's being put in play. You're putting yourself in position. And there's run rules in there, so it's not a clean 54 innings, but whatever the total is that they played, 50 innings or so, you have dictated terms at the plate in ACC play against 2-game opponents. This weekend with Duke will be a different challenge because they're in the mid-100s in RPI. So it's not quite get your blood up time, but it'll show maturity on a different level. The question is tomorrow night when you see that velocity, because even though Florida's fallen out of the top 25 and they were swept this weekend, their RPI is still in the top dozen in the country. So this would be a nice win to get because it helps you differentiate at the end of the season between being a home top 8 seed or you have a home bid and you're going to get paired with a regional like we did last year. So this is, while these games are midweek games, God, they really help your RPI if you can go grab yourself a win tomorrow night.
I'm curious, and we'll do it to start the next hour because I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. And I wondered if the kind of texts that you got were the exact same kind of texts I got. regarding a certain arrest that occurred while we were away. And, obviously don't make light of certain aspects of that arrest. But I cracked up at the number of texts I got on the heels of Connor's McAnamy. How do you say his name? I think that's right.
Yeah, go with that.
Yeah, that's Al, Jeff. That's the way.
Connor.
Yeah. The text that I got as that news trickled in, if I could just take a snapshot, it would reveal how hungry we are as a fan base. There was no recoiling. There was no despair, partly because it's a kicker. But the reaction was from a bunch of people who remember a time where, I don't know, arrests were commonplace in big-time college football. And they seemed to be emblematic of a certain thing. And that's all the texts were. There were no, have you read the reports?
Emblematic of success?
It was just those kinds of, it was hilarious. I'll get to it in a moment. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is Gene Deckeroff. In 1979, my friend Guy Moore opened his first store. Over 45 years later, Garnet and Gold is still providing the Seminole Nation with unique ways to show their spirit. As the last locally owned FSU merchandise source in Tallahassee, we're proud to be a part of the Florida State experience and this community. If you're a Seminole like me, this is your store. Garnet and Gold. Go Noles.
Why buy from Kraft Nissan? It's easy. We're one of the oldest locally owned dealerships, and we care about Tallahassee. We've been in the car business for 3 generations, and we're here every day. Plus Kraft's lifetime powertrain warranty, and J.D. Power says Nissan is #1 for new vehicle quality.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
Real Talk 93.3 has your free tickets for Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live. Glow and Fire, Saturday and Sunday, April 11th and 12th at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. And here's how you can win a 4-pack of tickets. Show us your Hot Wheels. That's right. Text us a photo of your ride to 850-386-8255. We'll post all the photo submissions on the Real Talk 93.3 Facebook page. And then our listeners can vote for their favorite. So no matter what kind of car you drive, text us a photo of your Hot Wheels to 850-386-8255. And you'll win tickets to the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow and Fire at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center, April 11th and 12th. Visit tuckerciviccenter.com for tickets and info. And text us a photo of your Hot Wheels to 850-386-8255.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Do you have a family member suffering from Alzheimer's or other memory-related health issues? The Alzheimer's Project can help. We've been helping families in Tallahassee for over 30 years. Our programs include free respite care, weekly support groups, and in-home help for veterans through AmeriCorps, providing a much-needed break for caregivers. You don't have to face Alzheimer's alone. We're here to support you and your family every step of the way. Visit alzheimersproject.org or call 850-386-2778.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Jacksonville Jaguars might be bringing in a new wide receiver. That would be Jacob Bobo, the Seahawks restricted free agent, signing an offer sheet with the Jaguars. And now Seattle is going to have 5 days to be able to match that offer. Tampa Bay Rays baseball utility man Ryan Valade has made the Rays opening day roster. He was acquired in a trade with the Reds earlier this offseason. The Rays have sent outfitter Justin Henry Malloy and outfitter Richie Palacios to minor league camp. The Miami Marlins have some bad news as star outfitter Kyle Stowers is going to open up the season on the injured list with a grade 1 hamstring strain.
This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The greatest insult the Colonel ever suffered was being served a wrap that was just a snack by a friend. So he took 2 crispy tenders, lettuce, tomatoes, and pepper mayo, and wrapped them in a soft tortilla. It wasn't a snack, it was a meal. He called it a twister, and never called that friend again. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. The Twister. Now back at KFC, classic or with bacon. Also try it spicy. It's finger-licking good.
Prices and participation may vary.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Tired of calling 1-800 numbers just to get put on hold? Flush those numbers down the drain and call Terry West Plumbing and Septic Services, now offering Terry's Toilets, providing clean, reliable porta potties for any job site, special event, or backyard party. Real local people doing real work. No robots, no AI, no call centers. For all your septic services and portable restroom needs, one local call wipes away the competition. Call 850-510-8558. That's 510-8558. Or visit terrywestplumbing.com. When you call, we answer.
All right, folks, if you're looking for a good excuse to play Seminole Legacy and feel good about it, I've got one for you. We're proud to be part of the Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Invitational coming up April the 13th at Seminole Legacy Golf Club here in Tallahassee. It's a Monday, which, let's be honest, is a perfect day to have a meeting on the course. Check-in starts at 8:30, shotgun at 10. They'll feed you, play a great track, free drinks, there's putting challenge, awards, silent auction, the whole kit and caboodle. It actually matters. The tournament supports education and training for child welfare workers across Florida, and part of the proceeds go right here locally to the Oasis Center for Women and Girls. So you're playing golf, but you're also doing some good. It's $200 for an individual, it's $750 for a foursome, so get your team together, grab your clients, or just come out and play. We're proud to sponsor it. I'd love to see some familiar faces out there. Tom Lang and myself will be playing as well, alongside PGA Pro Tom Shea and FSU Hall of Famer Jane Geddes. Come join us and have a good time for a great cause. Register at ficw.fsu.edu/golf. April the 13th, the first ever Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Tournament. We'll see you there.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon, there is one every few weeks. That's why the 7th Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials, too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, 7th Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The 7th Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachian Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Really well over the weekend. Got the 2 games they needed to after the bounce back of a loss on Friday. Softball dominated. This is a good time. This week, I'll remind people consistently, is a week that Major League Baseball joins the fray. They will be back in the fold. Really excited about that. You guys know I'm a baseball guy. And Thursday, we will be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. I'm going to tell you this next hour as well because I want as many people who get the opportunity on Thursday to come on out and enjoy $2 hot dogs, $2 apple fritters. What's the beer? It's
a happy hour drink specials on everything.
There you go. So it's we're going to be there. Tom and I, we're going to pre-record Thursday's show in order to be there on time because why would we not be? First pitch for the country is Pirates-Mets. Now, as baseball fans, I can imagine that you are quickly checking your calendar to find a way to get off work to have the opportunity to see the great Pittsburgh Pirates, to get to see Mr. Skeens go against my esteemed producer, dear friend Tom Lang's Mets. And we are going to be there on time to do just that and partake in many a hot dog.
Little Freddie Peralta versus Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens, Freddie Peralta begins the festivities at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill 2 o'clock?
1:15, first pitch, Mets Pirates. They're the only game in the country going for about an hour.
As it should be. As it should be.
You guys, I'm sure, had with the Brewers a lot of Skeens Peralta matchups last year.
Yeah, we did. We just can't, in the past, we'll see if this year's any different. They did add to the roster, so we'll see. But I think I saw the stat. The Pirates gave up the fewest runs in the National League last year, but also scored the fewest runs in Major League Baseball last year. So it's a hell of a combo.
Well, yes, we did the math. I think 6% of your offense came on the
against
three
the
games.
Mets. Against the Mets. All three we were at. Maybe that's the key. I just got to be at all the Pirates games. If somebody's independently wealthy and like to stroke me a check for $1 million, I can walk away from this here endeavor and go be at every Pirates game this year to see if we can score some runs.
You could be Pirates man, and then you can wear the canary yellow to everything.
But yeah, so the Pirates last year stopped a lot of people from scoring. I mean, Tom, we swept the Dodgers last year. I mean, it was in a series, we swept the Dodgers. That lineup shut down, couldn't deal, couldn't hang. And then, of course, we just spent a lot of time not scoring runs to help out.
Well, and we have the classic trap this year. You've been lucky to where your opening weekend series had continuous play. And unfortunately, that is not the case for us this weekend. We have Friday off.
Pirates Mets take Friday off after playing Thursday. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be electric, knowing that they're going to miss it on Friday because there is no game there, but they'll be all in on the Thursday.
We did put an emphasis on better bat to ball in the organization this year. We struck out a lot last season.
You did.
So we'll see. You got a lot of swing and miss stuff coming at us on Friday. A very angry American who was unable to finish the job for the United States in the World Baseball Classic.
He only went a 4 1/3, and
he was asked, how was the experience, and he said, not good enough. He was very curt because he was pissed that we did not win. So we're going to get a motivated Paul Skeens on Thursday, much like Florida State baseball is going to get an angry bunch of Gators again. Another disappointing weekend series before they play us on a Tuesday. So we'll see what that begets.
Okay, so that's Thursday. We'll be there. Welcome to the party. Major League Baseball. What a time of year, man. Florida State baseball in full swing, playing well, excitable. We all are to watch that. The weather changes. A lot going on in the world of golf. Soon the Masters will be here. Obviously, the NCAA tournament, 48 teams are gone. We're still playing. We now get the final full week of the madness to go along with it. Good times. Good times. And not for nothing, Florida State football, spring football, back in the fold as well. And to that end, we saw the story. I'm sure many of you did. If you missed it because you were busy during spring break doing something fun with family, friends, whatever it might be, Florida State's kicker, Connor McKinney, I don't know how to say
McEnany. Yeah, Spectator was right about that. The Mets have a guy, a studio announcer named Eamon McEnany, and it's the same.
McEnany. All right, so Connor McEnany was arrested Wednesday in Fort Lauderdale. And as soon as I saw that, I went, ooh, Balls McWednesday in a Fort Lauderdale during spring break suggests drunken stupidity, which is usually the case. It is spring break, after all. Perhaps the most harrowing moments in my life happened in consecutive years during spring break when I was at Isla Mirada down in the Keys. got away from you a little bit, Tom. The days got away from you a little bit.
Spring break got away from me too, but not in the same way. It was when my buddy visited from Notre Dame for spring break here.
You lost the plot.
Actually, I don't know that I'm comfortable telling the story.
Don't tell it. We don't have to reveal every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, but that's how. Yeah, it was.
The only reason you need to know, the only part of the story that you know the story, but the only part of the story that I can tell on the air about one of the occasions for me down in the Keys is that I woke up with the water lapping at my face, and I was face down on the beach. And you could die. I could have drowned.
My goodness.
Didn't know how I got there.
Yeah.
Kind of rolled over in the sand, water touching me as I realized the tide was coming in and wondering how I arrived there. And now I was not driving, I was walking, but I walked apparently and laid down on the beach. Not proud of the kids.
Yeah.
That's not what you do. I'm sure I was looking for some conch soup and things got loose.
Yeah, not quite the same story, but we'll just say that I wish that there were Cat 5 maintained ordinances
back then.
Because when the buddy's down and you don't really go to class much anyway, and they put a bottle of something on your counter, and you go, all right, and it's 2:00 and you're playing Wii Bowling at 2:00.
Wii Bowling was fun. You can get carried away.
See, but the problem is then you're going to AJ's at 7 p.m. after Wii Bowling for hours with it. It's just, it was not good. Yeah, it's not good.
McEnany got arrested down in Fort Lauderdale and is facing charges of battery on a law enforcement officer. Not good. Not good. Probably not going to bode well for his career here in Tallahassee. I don't know. I know he's been suspended from all team-related activities. I know that announcement was made because, of course, that is true. When you have third-degree felony charges, plural, hanging over your head, that's going to be problematic for you. The picture suggests that there was some silliness. I mean, he took he wore it a little bit.
Chicanery?
Chicanery.
A shillelagh to the face?
Yeah, he was suspended indefinitely this past Thursday by the university, by the athletic department, by the football program. He was arrested at 2:30 a.m. He was a trespasser, quote unquote, near the beach.
Oh, all right.
This all tracks. I mean, this all tracks.
A little tough love Cameron might need the intervention here. I've been there, literally.
Mr. McEnany. Connor, I love your homeland. I've been there 3 times. I've spent significant time in Ireland. It's a wonderful place. You're wonderful people. Beautiful, beautiful countryside and pubs that call. But I must insist that you, sir, gather. If you are going to make anything of this kicking endeavor moving forward, we cannot be 2:30 a.m. at the beach resisting arrest and refusing to leave and having all of the things that occurred. He was attempted to be detained by the FLPD at the time. He became uncooperative. The uncooperative thing is known to happen for those that are inebriated, yes. He was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer. Now, that part's not what you do at all, ever. Not good in any way. The resisting or the refusing to leave, you could chalk up to drunkenness. Fighting cops, not going to end well.
I'm assuming he was wearing his uniform, too. This was not a plainclothes officer who's just staking out the beach. It was like, all right, I'm looking for people.
So he was taken to Broward Health Medical Center as a precaution before being booked into the Broward County Jail, held on bond. Obviously, if you don't know, and I think a lot of people probably did not know, because they said to themselves when they read the story, who the hell is McEnany? I've never even heard of this McEnany. Right. I bet that was the response of 90% of Florida State fans. Who's McEnany? Well, he's a transfer from Division II Quincy University, originally from Northern Ireland, and competed in Gaelic football before coming to the United States to kick. He was brought in to compete for the Oklahoma State job, the Oklahoma State transfer, I should say. Gabe Pimikowski for the starting job after kicker Jake Weinberg, who we all remember not being any good at all last year, decided to transfer to the University of Miami, and reserve kicker Bruno Reyes left via the transfer portal. So we were kickerless. We needed somebody. We brought in this Irish kid, said, come on, kid, we'll take you on. And I don't know if he's good or not. I've never seen him kick, but I know he was drunk in Fort Lauderdale on Wednesday and he got arrested.
Allegedly. Well, the arrested party did. Yes, we sure know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the picture tells you he was
just trying to do. He was
zooted.
He's from the Northern Ireland, so
yeah, he's from Belfast. He's got a little something to him.
I'm going to assume he's a good Republic lad, though, with a name like McEnany. We'll see. He did get the Joe Surratt treatment, though. So maybe we could qualify our way back up to lost decade territory, because that would be an upgrade from where we are right now. That includes bowl games.
Curious. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's funny because Florida State fans, kicker's the least of our worry. We've had incompetence at important positions like quarterback and head coach. Makes it hard for you to fret too much about kicker. When you don't have the head coach quarterback situation in a stable situation, it's tough. You want to work those things out first. But we'll see what happens from here regarding that. I teased this segment by saying that the response was hilarious. Every text I got was, "We're back. We are back, baby. Let's go." And I said in response, perhaps, but it was a kicker. I would feel much better, and it's never okay to, let me get it out there, it's never okay to assault a police officer, obviously. Everybody knows that, right? But that aside, the arrest part of this, not the assaulting, the alleged assault of the officer, the arrest part of this is what we're speaking to, which is in the glory days of Florida State's dominance, and for many a program, not just Florida State, that could be Miami, certainly, or Florida's nice run under Spurrier, or Nebraska, or Oklahoma, or USC, or Michigan, or Ohio State, on and on and on. You know the deal. The programs that were preeminent and dominant in college football in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, there was a consistency to their level of play, both on and off the field. The on-the-field play was that of dominance, athleticism, and depth, along with coaching prowess. The off-the-field truisms of those same teams were that many of their players got arrested. They were right up against it. Anger issues. Violence beget violence on and off the field. There was the good kind and the bad kind. So a lot of our fans jumped to the, hey, we're back. Yes. That's a kicker. If it were a linebacker, if it were even an old school fullback, most certainly, if it were a nose tackle, a defensive end, a center, a left tackle, or even a running back, I would go, all right, things are looking up. You could play the sounder. Things are looking up. We'll find a way to tweet this down, and we know that guy's got to get a little what for to him. There we go. But it's a kicker. It seems indicative of a program that's not playing well. Your kicker got arrested, not somebody where violence is required.
Wait till you see him light up the returner from Virginia. That's it. He's going to use those Gaelic football skills, which is a really entertaining game. Folks, if you see it on, say, CBS Sports Network, I don't know what network would have it, probably something like that. On a random Saturday, you see Gaelic football. It's bizarre, but after about 2 to 3 minutes of watching, you're going to understand it. You're like, oh, this is fun. But it does require a little bit of punch. So maybe old McEnany has a little bit of sizzle to him. That would be a good thing.
Yeah, and
assuming he's not dismissed when this is all done, and they keep.
He may very well be. Yeah, people point out in the chat, of course, what day it was. I do realize that it was a celebratory set of circumstances.
It sounded like an adventure gone wrong. Like
sounded like St. Patty's Day and an Irishman getting hammered.
Just gonna go explore. Hey, the beach sounds cool right now. Don't tell me what to do. Don't you tell me what to do.
It's that last part, the don't tell me what to do, where it was spiraling.
Why your boy gave up James.
Well, it also sucked.
It also sucks.
Yeah,
it's so true.
It's not any good.
It was never any good.
And again, the arrests for public drunkenness or whatever is one thing. It's the whole assaulting officer thing. He better hope that those charges go away. Because he will not be allowed to play college football.
That the officer's like, well, he was being a D-bag, and he kind of brushed my shoulder, so we're going to go battery because he was being indignant.
Well, if you put your hands on the cop and resist, and you're pulling him toward, then this is discretion and all that.
If he apologizes, we'll drop that part. Hopefully it's that. Hopefully it's not he took a full swing.
Well, I think we would have known had he taken a full swing.
The picture suggests that perhaps there were
there were repercussions for the resisting.
Yeah.
But that's very different than taking a full swing. The pulling and the twisting away and the leave me be is very different than taking a swing.
I don't know what happened. I don't think he knows whether or not
he woke up wondering, yes.
Yeah.
Shannon Young, my man, made a move a while ago to be part of the nation's largest mortgage company. He's with Cross Country Mortgage. You guys know that, but you also know that my man is accountable, solid, smart, relentless, goal-oriented. He's won for so many of my fellow Noles and listeners on the program. Serves 7 states currently, Florida, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. He has been 20-plus years on the job, doing it right. Relentless energy, passion, unwavering commitment. I speak on it often. Proud to do so. If you are looking to get your best loan option for that dream home, go to loansfornoles.com. That is loansfornoles.com. I believe, or we're tracking him down, Eli Chaffel going to be with us. I do believe that's true. Loansfornoles.com.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning. Keeping you comfortable. Here's what Barry does best.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. You've probably heard the saying, marry the house, date the rate. Here's what that means. If you love the home, do not wait on the perfect interest rate. You can always refinance later, and I can help you plan for that from day one. In fact, a lot of homeowners I worked with last year are refinancing right now and saving hundreds each month. Others are using the equity in their homes to invest, buying second homes or rental properties that are already building wealth. So whether you're looking to lower your monthly payment, get cash out, or start an investment portfolio, let's talk strategy. I'll walk you through your options and find the smartest financial move for where you are right now. You can find me at loansfornoles.com. That's loansfornoles.com. You can reach me at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, and I want to help give you the keys to your next opportunity.
Real Talk 93.3 has your free tickets for Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live. Glow and Fire, Saturday and Sunday, April 11th and 12th at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. And here's how you can win a 4-pack of tickets. Show us your Hot Wheels. That's right. Text us a photo of your ride to 850-386-8255. We'll post all the photo submissions on the Real Talk 93.3 Facebook page, and then our listeners can vote for their favorite. So no matter what kind of car you drive, text us a photo of your Hot Wheels to 850-386-8255, and you'll win tickets to the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow and Fire at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center, April 11th and 12th. Visit tuckerciviccenter.com for tickets and info, and text us a photo of your Hot Wheels to 850-386-8255.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on a Monday. Feeling good to be back talking with you guys. Thanks for joining us. I always appreciate you and joining us right now, if you will. My man, Ira Schafel, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you doing?
Good. Baseball returns this week, man. You're going to be out there at the corner pocket to join us on Thursday to watch the beginning of a long journey for your Orioles, my Pirates, and Tom's Mets.
I will try to. I thought you might come by the patio, but yeah, okay. I'll see if I can do that. The patio will be open the rest of the year, so we'll make it happen both ways. But yeah, I'll try to get out there.
I could do both. What time do the Orioles play?
3, I think.
Oh,
something like that.
Okay, so that'll be difficult. Yeah, it's not happening. I'm ready to embark yet again. No matter how hurt we are, to have the opportunity to watch our teams yet again, we'll sign up.
We're both in much better places than we were a year ago at this time. So let's hope for the best.
I think that's true. Hey, what to make of you go back, you and I talked a couple weeks ago, you go back to that loss to Florida and the power arms just shoving against Florida State bats, and it was a familiar script and frustrating, and we talked about, and Link talked about, we gave him credit for his calm demeanor and the way that he crystallized that whole thing, saying, hey, look, we'll see how they respond. It was the first they had seen velocity like that. They're going to have back-to-back series now where they'll get a chance to respond. First of all, they sweep the Wake series. Now you fast forward to what we just saw, and they take 2 of 3 from NC State. They really pound NC State pitching. I dare say had they picked up the ball on Friday night, they might have swept this series. What to make of this Florida State baseball team, which is responding in a way that Mike Norvell's football team doesn't when he asks the question, but the baseball team, boom, man, they look good.
It's funny. It's a good reminder, probably for everybody, that college baseball season is long, and you kind of gather information as you go along because I think it was easy to overreact to that Florida game. Then it was probably easy to overreact to the Wake Forest game because as you sat there and watched them play on Friday, you started to think, well, maybe Wake Forest isn't very good, and it's just because you start wondering. I mean, like you said, Florida State did not play very well Friday night. I mean, NC State. Really, the score to me wasn't indicative of the way NC State played and Florida State played. I mean, it was 6-4, but I thought NC State kind of dominated that game. And so you go after that game, I'm thinking, well, man, what if they get swept at home by NC State? And then they go out and win the next 2 games, pretty convincing. So yeah, it's just again, it's a good reminder that baseball is different than these other sports. It's not just a one-off every Saturday where you that's going to be the determining factor. These series go on for a few days, and the season's a long series. And I think when you look at these young guys, I think that's probably what we should have expected when you do have so many young guys that they're counting on. I mean, you're counting on some talented freshmen, but they're still freshmen. So everything they go through is a new experience. And I think overall, you got to be really happy and pleased with what we've seen out of those freshmen because they've kind of seemed to learn pretty quickly and have success.
Let's segue from the baseball team because I want people to be alerted to a piece that you wrote on warchant.com, which is a headline that reads, as NIL landscape evolves, FSU AD Michael Alford confident Seminoles can compete at the highest level. Take this wherever you want it to go. For everybody listening, go to warchant.com where you can read that piece. I think this is going to be a constant subject and discussion and talking point. When did you sit down with Michael Alford, and what were your thoughts on the questions and answers you got out of him?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, actually. And, but, it was like right before spring football was starting. And so it didn't seem like the time right then in the middle of, I think it might've been a day or two before you do those assistant coaches interviews. So it was kind of hard to muscle, a big picture story in about the athletics department in that window. Then spring football started, so we couldn't really do it then. And then spring break, things kind of slowed down. So, ran the first story today. I'll have another story tomorrow. Well, actually, I did have one story a couple weeks ago that was easier to knock out. The NIL story was today, and I'll have another story tomorrow, kind of looking big picture of football and some of the changes that have happened since the end of last season. But it wasn't like there was. It's not like he's going to go into details, but I just can tell you that from talking to him, I think he's acknowledge the frustrations that he's had and that, all the college administrators have had about the College Sports Commission or whatever it's called, their inability to really enforce the new guidelines, and that is obviously creating challenges when you hear things like LSU maybe having a $40 million roster this year, which is just wild when you consider that revenue sharing is half of that. But he did say repeatedly on the record, and you can read the quotes at warchant.com, that basically whatever the rules are, whatever's going to be enforced, we just want to know what they are. And basically what he was saying is, Florida State's going to compete. And the question is, what are the rules going to be and what are they not going to be? And if there's not going to be rules, then Florida State's going to act accordingly. So I think that, to me, that was the big takeaway. Now, whether or not they have the money to compete with Texas Tech, it's another question. I think that's, there was a good, a guy named Clint Lamb who covers Alabama. He used to be part of our network. I think he's with a different network now. He had a video on over the weekend, and he was having this conversation about Alabama and whether or not they can compete with some of the big money out there. And he said, listen, I think Alabama will be able to make a run every few years where they say, okay, this is going to be our year. We've got the right quarterback. Let's pour in some money and let's make a run. But if you think Alabama, his point was, and he covers Alabama, he's like, if you think Alabama is going to compete with Texas Tech and Texas and those schools that want to spend unlimited money every year, that's probably not going to happen. And I think Florida State's in that boat as well. So if there's no constraints, do I think Florida State can spend with the biggest spenders? No, not every year. I think they're going to have to be smart about it, make a run when they can, and just be competitive in the other years. But, that doesn't mean that they're just going to fall by the wayside. And I think that was to me, that was the biggest takeaway from talking to him is Florida State's going to be competitive, but they are still waiting to see what the landscape's going to look like, to see what they're allowed to do.
Well, and I think a lot of Florida State fans want to know, Ira, obviously you're not going to compete with certain programs where money literally is no object. You're talking about schools in the state of Texas where oil leads to billions upon billions upon billions to fall back on and invest in winning. I wonder how long that would last anyhow. But nonetheless, in the interim, Florida State would not be able to compete with schools like that. But they also can't continue to have their head in the sand just dreaming and wishing that rules would be enforced that would be beneficial to them if they're not going to be enforced. I think the second part of that, though, and what I've talked about and wondered about too, is opening up other revenue streams. I know this is a multi-part series that you have. There's another part coming out tomorrow, I do believe. Did he get into detail about some of the other aspects of this where you have corporate partners who can come in and really help out, not just singularly asking really rich donors to keep donating, but rather having entities that have the money and it's in their best interest, say like Nike and others, to help fund this?
Yeah, there's actually a quote on the record from Michael Alford midway through the article, because I asked him that. I said, what options do you have? Like, what can you do? And basically, and that's what he said. I don't have a direct quote in front of me. Maybe Tom can pull it up. But basically he said, we are working with some of our corporate partners on things in that area. Now, he didn't give specifics, but yeah, I think you're going to see Florida State doing that if that's what's legal. But, you saw, Sealy, the guy who runs the College Sports Commission, he came out with comments a few weeks ago where he said, that's now like the vast majority of these jobs or these NIL contracts we're getting through are those kinds of deals that you're talking about. And he's like, that was not supposed to be what this is. Like, this was, originally when he took over, he said, it was presented to him by the schools that 90% or more of the NIL deals were going to be real NIL deals. Well, that's not true at all. And so now we got to figure out what's going to happen. Are they just going to rubber stamp all those? Are they going to flag those? Are they going to send them back and say, no, that doesn't work? So nobody really knows. And I think that's where Florida State is right now. And this is me reading between the lines. I'm not speaking. Michael Alford didn't say this. But the impression I get is Florida State just wants to see how that stuff plays out. And if they need to direct their corporate partners to spend money, in that manner, I think that's what they're going to be prepared to do. But there's a cost to that. And every school has to decide what they're going to do. Because if Nike, and this isn't a Florida State thing, this is just an example. If Nike pays your school $15 million a year, or Coca-Cola or whatever it is spends you several $millions a year, and you take that money and say, okay, we're going to put that now to NIL, and you're going to sponsor our quarterback or whatever position. Okay, that's fine. But you have to replace that money. Like, that money used to be used to pay expenses, to pay salaries, to pay scholarship costs, all those things. So now you got to replace that money. So it is a solution, but I don't know that it's the end solution, because you still have to replace that other money in this arms race. So there's a lot to be determined, but I do get the sense from Florida State that, to answer your question, they're prepared to do that. They just want to see what happens and whether or not, there's any fallout from what's going on right now.
Yeah, we could go down this road forever, buddy, because that opens up the door to another conversation. But maybe we'll have it tomorrow on Seminole Headlines. It's a good piece, and I want people to go read it. Go to warchant.com. Always appreciate it, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
Yep, take care. Ira Shafel, warchant.com. We'll talk more with Corey and Ira tomorrow on Seminole Headlines. Seeing what happens is not the answer I want to hear from the athletic director. We know what's going to happen.
I think once you're in the position, this is where I'll take the other side for a moment. Once you're in the position that we're in, which is we are not a have right here, right now. And I'm talking about talent on the football field.
No, yeah, definitely not.
What's the rush this year? You can let it ride for this cycle, this recruiting cycle. You're already here. It's already a mess. So let's see what we got.
It already happened. But what you are doing now is participating in a different way in the same space. You can't just continue to ride this out and say, let's see what happens. No. I know what's going to happen. You're going to continue to lose.
Correct. Yes.
So no.
And I'm here for the discussion about what you need to do with 27 kids. But the problem is, I don't know what coach is going to be closing the deal with the 27 kids in December. Yeah, and that's a toughie, because if you're promising, that's where I just wonder, now that you've hired Garrett, and he wouldn't answer this on the record, but I just wonder, is it incumbent upon that person to have a conversation with a prospect, separate the head coach, that says, hey, if there's a change, this offer stands? I mean, how does the transition work? And how do you prepare for the transition to where you don't purge kids left and right?
We have seen that. There are kids.
Yeah, Florida last year, their class
just did it. Yeah.
Right, but who is having that conversation? And that's really important.
The one good thing is that in this era, we do know that if you have a forward-thinking, aggressive relationship with, obviously representatives of these players, and you're a player, meaning you're part of the game, you understand where this is all headed, and you understand what can and cannot be enforced, and what, then when you negotiate those deals, they are contracts. Those are deals that will be upheld regardless of the coach's presence in the program or not. And we've seen that. We've seen kids stick with a commitment to a school who then loses a coach,
right,
because their deal was already guaranteed.
Yeah, well, and there's only so much money to go around for everybody's budget, so it's not like that there's this slush fund that's available for the top 10 schools, and they're just waiting to see who fires whom.
Yeah,
because the carousel was very busy last year, and outside of maybe a lot of traffic from Penn State to Virginia Tech, I mean, you saw a lot of that because Penn State didn't have a solution ready to go, and Franklin just brought a whole bunch of players and walked down the street with them to Hokie Land.
Yes, he did.
But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of post-firing movement. Not on the scale. Remember, people were talking, this is going to be the craziest. Well, this is going to be the craziest signing day ever. Like, no.
One host was talking about that repeatedly.
True. That's true.
Yeah. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas has everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. Of course, they do. The largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the entire city. Easily finance those hot tubs, by the way. And if you got an old hot tub, it's dilapidated, it's just an eyesore at your house, it's on the back deck, you don't show people the back deck because the eyesore that is the hot tub, you say, you know what, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, come get this bitch. Come get it and haul it away. It's an eyesore, but I really like having a hot tub. Will you give me a little something for it? And I'll put it towards the new hot tub. And Pinch and Penny's Pool and Spas, if I could speak, says, yes, we will. We'll do it. We'll do it. They make it easy for you. They also have the cold plunge tubs, which, fitness nuts, that's your thing these days, jumping in the old cold plunge tub. You ever done it?
No.
It's alarming.
I can only imagine.
You will recoil. You are kind of thing is what you do as you dip your feet in that.
It all started with the bucket challenge, and then somebody's like, what if we just filled a tub with this stuff?
Bud Elliott did that to me on the bucket challenge. He challenged me, and then I knew that I had to wear it. I was disappointed in Bud for having done that, I was going to get off scot-free.
You could have just said no and donated money.
But it wasn't the right thing to do. He couldn't have that because it was on his timeline or whatever. Then I'd have looked at no, I'm saying like you can't be publicly called out on video and not do it. Plus, I wanted to do it for the charity, and my kids were the ones dumping the ice. They thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
I'm sure they did.
They couldn't
I'm sure they remember that to this day.
Oh, yeah. It was outside in the front yard. I just wore it.
Where the rug should be.
Where the rug should be. Well, I eat the glorious, well, I like dates. What was it I was going to eat?
Was it dates?
It wasn't dates, was it? Apricots.
You know, maybe that's why we lost so many games.
I'm not eating enough apricots?
Well, on the rug out front. I think maybe that was the demon exorciser.
Pitch Pitty Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Your local news now.
One person is injured after their car collided with a Target store early. Inmates. The first part of remodeling could total around $9 million. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
Hey there, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold, and the winds are shifting this afternoon, likely going to make Wakulla County in the unhealthy for sensitive groups category when it comes to this air quality. Temperatures will be climbing into the mid-80s by the late afternoon. The drier and warmer air as of late, along with the extreme drought, makes it easier for wildfires to spread, so please be cautious around fire starters. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold.
Excuse me, is this the checkout line?
Oh, no, this is the line for Florida sweet corn.
Florida sweet corn is in season? Nobody told me.
You're not a member of the Fresh from Florida Club, are you?
The what?
The Fresh from Florida Club. Sign up at freshfromflorida.com and you'll get a heads up whenever locally grown produce is in season. The club has lots of free perks, but knowing when Florida sweet corn is available is one of my favorites.
Yes, I'll be heading over to freshfromflorida.com after I get my Florida sweet corn.
Fresh from Florida. There's sunshine in every bite.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct, yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, I would again reiterate that if you get the opportunity, and you'll certainly have a moment in time to go over to Warchant.com and read Ira's piece. There'll be a second part to it, as I said before. It is interesting. Everybody's got an opinion, certainly, on the state of college football. Most of us have a negative opinion with the state of college football. And while big picture, Tom, I do agree that it is in Florida State's best interest to see some sort of guardrails or parameters involving college football and player acquisition and budgets and all of the revenue share and any of the aspects of NIL that we want to talk about. Yeah, we would like to see this not be an unlimited set of circumstances where programs who have so much in the way of billions and billions and billions of dollars funding their football roster are going to dwarf that of Florida State. Big picture, yeah, that doesn't long-term bode well for us. At the same time, I do not want to continue to be one who waits for the changes for fear that they're going to do something wrong if, in fact, they open up revenue streams through corporate partners, NIL, battles in, whatever it might be, before fear of the hammer coming down. The hammer's not coming down. Not everybody has signed off on this, and anybody in the CSC that tries to enforce this is going to get sued. So you can't sit idly by and fall further behind and get your head kicked in and have another losing season and sit on your ass.
I think that's all fair, and I agree with all of it because, once again, the participation agreement needs to be signed by all parties for the CSC penalties to be enforceable. You could reject them right now if you wanted to. They could penalize you and say, these deals are not above board. We're going to rule this player ineligible. And you could say, no, you're not. I didn't agree to those
Who's
rules.
going to the CSC?
Right, exactly. They're going to say he's ineligible, and the NCAA jumps in, I suppose. But you could say on what grounds? And you say, well, based upon these grounds. You say, well, do we have unanimous signatures on this agreement?
The answer is no.
The answer is no. It gets tied up in courts. It gets a little ugly. Maybe you have some lawyers' fees, but you're going to win. Judge is going to toss that until the deterrent is in there, which is that you've all agreed to this. You've all signed a piece of paper that says that you agreed to the rules, and you cannot appeal those rules. That's part of the agreement, is it says you can't appeal those rules. But we're going to get into state courts and all that kind of stuff when it comes down to that. You know that's happening, I think, in the state of Nebraska right now, which is they've got state law on the books that says you can't penalize us for paying players.
Correct.
That runs in direct opposition to the CSC agreement that not everybody has signed. So that's part of it. The part that I liked hearing was that Alabama is worried about whether or not they can compete and they confront the money on a year-to-year basis. What's good about that
is that they're one of the power conferences, and then if enough of those types of teams, yes.
Because their ratings are inelastic. Their ratings are fixed, and they're great. Texas Tech has situational ratings at best. And some of these other schools that might have a lot of money will have situational ratings at best. Watch Indiana's ratings over the next 5 years. You think that they're going to become this thing, or was it a novelty act, and if they're back, you might get crickets, and people are going to turn off the television relative to this most recent national championship, which had some novelty to it. Alabama, that's not going to happen to. Ohio State won't happen to. Notre Dame won't happen to.
Programs, sure.
And so the more programs of that stature that are pissed off with the system, the more powerful they can lobby their own conference commissioners, and then it goes down the line because the conference commissioners talk to the network, and the network says this cannot pass. We are not about to have a Texas Tech versus SMU national championship 2 out of 3 years because they can outspend everybody. That's not going to fly. That's where I think we've got a little bit of protection there is while our ratings are excellent, their ratings, there is one tier above us, and Alabama's certainly at that tier that's above.
Long term, I think you're right. They'll break away if they have to, meaning the two power leagues, and we all believe that at some point in the not too distant future, Florida State will be a part of one of those two power leagues or just maybe one umbrella power league, whatever that becomes, however many teams that is. Florida State, because of their cachet, their ratings gold, and their success in the game over the last 50 years, almost guarantees that they will be invited into such a league. We do long-term see that. We also know there's an exit route because we were the ones who sued and won against the ACC. That is true. I think it's awfully interesting every time I hear A.D. Alford say that he's in cooperation with and conversation with Jim Phillips and the ACC. Why? We're leaving. We're jetting this place. You got to ghost this dump. It's time to ride. I mean, this is long-term. This is not where you want to be.
I think the other part of that discussion, which is Ira was talking about replacing the revenue. Man, we already know this. Olympic sports are on the clock in many universities. No athletic director wants to talk about it.
No, and it's a hard thing for them to talk about. I understand that aspect of it. But yes, they are on the clock. Club sports, they shall be.
Well, and you could argue that they never should have been a sport that travels across the country or across a footprint of the Southeast or whatever region you're a part of. But they had no place to put the money from TV, so they had to stuff it in all these other places in order to show that they don't have a profit that they're reporting on an annual basis.
Sure, no, we did not make money. Now, if you would, please look at our chocolate fountain right there next to the go-karts in the athletic center.
It went to go-karts and laser tag and assistant coach salaries. I mean, you name it. The decadent nature of Alabama's coaching facilities because they've got 6 dozen assistants under Nick Saban 10 years ago. Like, well, look at this. They have their own booth, everybody.
Do you remember reading? I remember reading the article in Yahoo Sports, I believe it was, that was documenting the assistants to the assistants to the assistants to the assistants. And the first time that an opposing coach who was tasked with the responsibility of competing at that same level with Nick Saban and his staff walked out onto the field and said, why do they have 137 coaches? This is crazy.
That's right.
And then people started asking questions, and there were no rules against it. You could do it. And it was hilarious. And it became a halfway house for all the fired coaches that have in any way had some sort of connection to Nick's friend, his buddy's buddy, whatever it was.
And it was such a scam. Could you imagine, right now, if players could collect full revenue share from one university, go play at another school for half a year for minimum, and go stack the roster, how much people would flip? That's what was happening with the coaching staffs. They openly showed it in broadcasts that you'd have the assistant coach's box, and then they pivot over here to like a hospitality suite that they rent out. Like, this is where all the analysts are. This is the analyst box for Alabama. You're like, oh my God. They've got nowhere to put the money. So they just keep on investing in these other things. And now the money has to start to go to the players, to where some schools like Stanford, and I'm sure there's some SEC schools that will invest in gymnastics and Olympic sports. But for many schools, you're going to have
sword fighting.
You're going to have to fencing. You're going to have to whittle this thing down by, what do you think, 10, 20, 30% in terms of athletic programs you offer?
But there's the Title IX discussion and everything else from there.
You got to go one for one.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited that it's not today. It's not tomorrow. It's not Wednesday, but when it's Thursday, if you click on it, you'll see right there before your eyes, Pirates, Mets, Skeens, Peralta, White Sox, Brewers, Smith, Mizorowski, Savali versus Boyd with the Nats and the Cubs. Now, I'm not going to do it all, but it's just a teaser. It's close. It's soon. Probables coming to a show near you. This one on Wednesday we do that, or Thursday? We'll do
Thursday. We'll do it during the tape.
Yeah, during the tape.
You might need to burn that in the opening segment. Could you do an opening segment? Probable
Summer wind.
Well, I can't do any of that anymore, unfortunately.
What we end up doing, we did figure out. You found the baseball music that we.
I found
use.
Some baseball.
Yeah,
music.
It was great.
Yeah, great. You liked it, right?
I did like it. It was good. It was. I don't know. I mean, the rules are really weird, but yeah. I do know that
it was the jazzy "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Yeah, and that's what we're going to use again.
Find that
it's great. I do know that Liberatore is pitching this week on a Thursday. Garrett Crochet is pitching on a Thursday, and so is my man Yoshinobu Yamamoto, which I like. Yeah, there it is.
This is whitelisted. We can use this,
and we will. I miss, who was it? There were like 4 De La Santos. Or
De La Rosa.
De La Rosa. All the De La Rosas are gone.
Yeah, Ruby and Jorge. Jorge was the first one, and then Ruby, I think he had 2 B's in his first name, ended up making it to the bigs as well.
That's true. Santinol says Braves are limping into the season. Tough times. There's a sadness to his face. Also, I saw my man, Stephen Rafferty, my boy, my old St. Pete boy back in Glasgow, Scotland, visiting his family and friends. I know that he is. He's frequently there. Hello, Stephen. Thanks for watching, brother. Good old Raffy. We had a good meal, did he and I, down by the pier. St. Pete has changed, buddy. It is crazy how much it's changed since we were little tots running around. There was nothing.
Since you were a little tot, and I was a little tot, because you drive over there for Lightning games and you got the hell out of there when it was over. I was too young to go to Ferg's, so that was that.
I remember when my old PE teacher began Ferg's, Mark, and we all kind of thought, what an interesting transition. You go from being a PE coach in middle school at Bay Point to owning a bar, going to call it Ferg's. Fair enough, Mark Ferguson. And the next thing you knew, it went from a place that is about as big as this room to 2 stories, and then there was one in Tampa, which is since shut down, I think.
Yeah, that was a combination of words, not...
right, correct. No, you know the word. Yeah, but it was amazing to watch it grow.
Live, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were renting, as I understand that, so I think they just decided, all right, we're done.
We're done here. But the one that's across from the police station always struck me as interesting. I'm like, man, you got one from across the police station. And then I realized it was ingenious. Cops aren't going to mess with that. That's their bar.
That would be right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, they're not gonna.
It's still there, isn't it? Did it survive the trop being?
Absolutely.
down?
Yeah, no, it's doing really well. It's fine.
Okay.
It's and the trop is back this year.
Yeah, does it still have the blue and white top now? That's what during the repairs it had the blue top.
I haven't gone by in the last month or so to see, but in due time I will. It's just nice to know that baseball will be being played again, and we welcome it back into the fold, and we celebrate all the things, which will include probables. Did your bracket go all to hell? Did you have one? You said you did.
I did. No, I'm all right. Things are okay. I picked Arizona to win it and Iowa State to go very far, so I'm okay.
Oh, man, Noel Dad bringing up Jose Lima. May he rest in peace.
Lima time. You got a name of a player? You want to do that game for a second? That just makes you smile?
All time?
Yeah, like Kilvio Veras. There you go. What a name.
Kurt Bavacqua. I always liked the name Bavacqua. Plus, my mom knew him. I don't know why I always liked, well, obviously Kent Tekulve.
Oh, that's a good name.
Omar Marino.
How about Glenn Allen Hill? Old Glenn Allen.
So you're going you're just naming guys that you like.
Oh, just the name. The name brings a smile to your face. Glenn Allen was denied a timeout, stepped right in the box and hit a home run after the umpire said no.
That's right. I remember that. That was a big suck it. Yeah. Pop Stargell is my all-time, Willie Stargell. But Omar Marino, man, great name for a center fielder who can run. It's a good one.
R.A. Dickey.
Knuckleball Supreme for a while.
Won a Cy Young with the knuckler.
Yes, he did. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, this is for my homeowner.